everyone, it's Nancy Amato, the Be More Stamper. Welcome, welcome. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late today. We're actually 27 minutes late today. I was running behind and not realize what time it was, and I'm like, yikes, I have to finish cutting paper here for our live. So, we are going to be making this card together today. And we're going to be playing once again with the Layers of Beauty bundle. Now this bundle is part of the die bundle sale that is still going until tomorrow, until the end of June. So you get an extra 10% off of all die bundles through the month of June. So you normally get 10% off a bundle, but you're going to get an extra 10% on top of that today and tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day. So we are going to be playing with Layers of Beauty again today, just like I was last week. And I just kept doing all those color combinations. I hope you saw those previous posts. But today we are going to be making this card. I wanted to do a different color scheme and not have, you know, realistic green leaves here. I just wanted a real soft kind of gray so that the flowers would really pop. So the color scheme for this, the inks we're using today are Blueberry Bushel and Smoky Slate. Okay, so we're gonna make this card from start to finish. I'm going to let you see the sizes of the pieces that we will need next. And let's get started, okay? The inside is right here. I have brought in 2 other stamp sets and actually die set from another bundle to get this little greeting die here as well. So let's get started. Let me move this off of here. And let's talk about what sizes of paper you will need. Okay, so we're going to start with our card base, and this is Blueberry Bushel. It is 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Okay, normal card base. We have one piece of basic white for the inside. That's going to be for our inside greeting. It is 4 by 5 1/4. And then our outside panel, we need a piece of basic white. This is going to be that teeny tiny little border around here. Can you see that? Okay. So this is 1/8 of an inch smaller. So instead of 5 1/2, this is going to be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, had to do that math in my head real quickly. That's why it was slower. All right, then we need a panel of Blueberry Bushel, and this is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. We are going to run this through with the exposed brick embossing folder just to get a little texture on that. We're going to do that as well. So what I'm going to do is just tuck this right inside so I don't lose this piece. All right. And then I'm just using a 1/4 sheet of basic white for our roses. So this is just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So let me put the card pieces right here and get out this other stamp sets we're using. The greeting is coming from Delicate Forest stamp set. So that's where we get the Sending Our Love. And then for the inside, I have Stay Strong, My Friend, You'll Get Through This. Okay, this is a great stamp set. I love the greetings in here because they are appropriate for so many different times when people just need a little bit of encouragement. So I like these greetings. Plus the little die cut, and I cut 2 just in case I mess it up, or when I mess it up, you know. So this little die is part of the Happy Little Things bundle. So we've used this before, especially for those coffee themed cards we did. And this stamp set is a die bundle as well, and it comes with these cute little dies here. It's 2 label dies right here. So you can see one of them has a little notched end, okay, and there's stitching on both of those notched ends here. And then the one we're using today has kind of a ruffled end and stitching along there. So I've just taken this die and cut it out twice ahead of time so that we can just stamp on it and then we're ready to go. These dies are sized to fit these little greetings inside of them. And because this packaging is so small, I just keep it right inside with the stamp set. All right, let's get started. We are going to do our stamping and masking first to get these beautiful flowers over here. So this time, instead of doing the inking the stamp with our basic beige so it kind of fades into the background, this time I wanted the outline of those flowers to be more visible. Okay, see these lines, the line art here? I wanted it to be more visible. So here is our big, very large image here from the Layers of Beauty stamp set. And with larger stamps, I like to just lay them on my table with the stamp side up, and I just tap the ink onto it. All right, so we have that fully inked up. Now I'm going to turn it this way just so I can get it onto the piece of paper a little bit easier. All right. Now, if you have a stamp positioning tool, like if you still have our Stamparatus that we used to sell, that is a great way to also stamp these large images like this. There we are. I still had one of these really large blocks, so I just put it on there. You could also just lay the stamp down onto your table, ink it up, and then lay your paper on top of it and press down to transfer that ink into your paper. Alrighty. So there we go. We have that finished. All right. We are also going to use the masks that come with this bundle because I'm still playing with them. I cannot stop. So first things first, I am going to take some Post-it note tape over here. Whoopsies. And just hold this piece of cardstock. Just put 2 pieces right in the corner. And I am just going to keep this from moving around. I've put a piece of white, actually this is the back side of a piece of tag board that's in our designer series paper packs that I finished. So I did that just not to have the glare from my glass mat, which is under here. But when I was doing this myself, I just had this taped right to my glass mat and it was working like a charm. I just put this piece under here today just so you wouldn't see the glare from all of the lights that I have. Alrighty, you may see a little glare on these masks here. I'm going to apologize for that ahead of time, but I do need to see what I am doing, so I need to keep my lights on. All right, so we're going to start with mask number 1 here. And what you do is you just peek through this mask and you can see very quickly how it lines up. All righty. What you want to look for, you kind of aim for these 3 big flowers first, And then what I look for next are the centers of these little teeny daisies, like at the top, these daisies right here, these three right here, and then these at the bottom. And then once I know that that is in the right position, I just push this down with another piece. Let me tilt this a little bit so you don't get too much of a glare. Let's see if that works. I'm not sure where that light is coming from, this glare right up here, but alrighty, we will work with it just so you can still see as well. There we go. So you want to line up the center of these little daisies as well, and I hold this down to my work surface with another little piece of Post-it note tape so that I can add color and then lift this up and check it and make sure that it is enough color. All right, so we're using one of our blending brushes again, and the same color, the Blueberry Bushel ink, and I'm starting off the edge here on this mask and just swirling this ink all over, and it will go through wherever there are holes. So it kind of reminds me of the old stenciling we used to do in the 80s, if anybody's as old as I am. If you remember stenciling walls and stenciling like wooden country-ish pieces of furniture, that type of thing. Same idea. We're going to go just in circular motions like this. Now, I can pick this up and make sure, oh yeah, I like that. That is a good enough layer for layer number 1. Okay, so now I just pull this off. Keep your Post-it note tape on there, and I'm just going to put that aside. Next, we need mask number 2, which is right here. Okay, again, we're going to line up with those big flowers first, and then wiggle it in line with the daisies, the center of the daisies once again. Okay, now there is a notch right here. You could always draw that notch onto your work surface there, but when I was using it on my glass mat, I did not do that. So I just kind of got used to lining it up this way. All right, we're going to add some more Blueberry Bushel ink onto our blending brush, and then just really lightly go over top here and use like circular motions just to get in all of those little nooks and crannies. Okay. And I'm going to lift this up and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, I need to add a little more down here on this bottom rose. Okay, I'm going to just pull this up from the mask itself, add it to my brush. Alrighty, and oops, I'm going to lift that up. Yes, that looks much better. Okay, so we have 2 layers of our Blueberry Bushel right now. Okay, pull that off. And now we're going to do mask number 3. This time you're going to look for the little centers of those daisy-like flowers again. But this time the holes of those, the centers, are going to be showing through the holes of the mask because we need to get some ink on those this time. Alrighty, and again, I'm just going to start right here so I don't have a big blob of ink coming onto the surface of my card all at one time. And to clean these masks, I recommend taking them over to your sink and just running water on them. You don't need to scrub them or anything like that because there are very fine and delicate little cuts, especially in these 2 roses here in the center. So just running water over them will clean them up. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I might do another little bit just to make it a little bolder so we can see it on the camera, okay? Alrighty, there we go. Alrighty, so let's lift that up. Oh yeah, that looks good. I was trying to get kind of like the Delft pottery look to all of this. So, all right, we're finished right now with using our blueberry bushel and the masks. For number 4 and 5, I want to use Smoky Slate. I just want a different kind of look to the leaf. So let's bring in number 4. This one, I'm just looking at the leaves shining through, and you can see right here and right here, you kind of line these up with the edges of those big roses. Alrighty. That is looking pretty good to me, right there. And now I'm just going to press that down. So I'm going to open up the Smoky Slate and use a different brush for that one. Okay, so again, I'm going to start off on the side here, and I'm just doing this really, really gently. I'm holding the blending brush by the handle and not pushing down on the actual head of the blending brush because I just want the littlest bit of Smoky Slate to come through here. I don't want it to be really, really dark. Okay. And then the rule with this is blend it once and then flip it up. See if you think that's enough. And for me, that's the look I'm going for. I just want it to be very, very subtle. Okay, so pull off mask number 4, I'm sorry, and bring in mask number 5. And again, we're just gonna line these up with the leaves. You can see them peeking out there. Okay, that is looking pretty good. There we go. All right, and push that down. And again, I'm just gonna load up my brush again and just do a really, really light layer all the way around. You can always add more ink. You cannot take it away. So it's better just to do light layers, and if you need more, add more, versus being really, really heavy-handed, and then then it's too dark. It's not the look that you're going for. All right, let's see what that looks like. I like that. That looks good. It's just a really, really subtle gray leaf. All right, so I can close up my Smoky Slate, put that over here to the side with that blending brush, and pull off that mask. All righty, so let's do the rest of our stamping for our greeting. Let me move these masks out of the way so that I can not get them all over. There we go. Putting those over there to take those to the sink later on. All right, I'm going to peel up this little panel here. All righty. And we're going to die cut this, but while we have the ink out here, let's get our little greeting done and the inside greeting as well. Oh, there's a little more Post-it note tape on that panel right there. Alrighty, let me see if I can quickly find a foam mat. Here we go. I can put this down. I really don't need it because I'm using my glass mat under here, but at least this way you can see, and I can see it better. I'm actually going to turn this a little more around now that we're finished our masking, so that I can aim the greeting right on that teeny tiny teeny tiny little label print right there, okay? So again, I'm gonna do the sending our love. And I like putting straight line greetings like this on a diagonal on the block because it helps me hold on to the sides a little bit better. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but if I put it on straight, sometimes it's harder for me to get it straight than it is to actually put the greeting on the block on the diagonal. So there we go. Push that straight down, lift it straight up, and there we go. We have our greeting. Okay, so there is our sending our love. That is over here ready to go. Let me now pull in. This is our inside panel. Okay, so I am going to ink up this greeting. And again, I have it on the block crooked. It just helps me stamp it straight on to the card. Is anybody else like that? I don't know if that's just that's a Nancy thing or what the heck that is. Alrighty. So there we go. So I can close up our blueberry bushel now and put that to the side. So we have all of these pieces. We're going to need to bring over the die to cut out this beautiful flower that we just did. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my regular old size Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm going to put it right here. Hopefully I'm going to slide it a little bit right here. I have to clean my table again. Can you tell? Anyway, here's what we're going to need. I'm going to show you the layers that we're going to need to cut this out. Okay, we're going to need our base number 1. Okay, our number 2 layer. Alrighty, then let's see, here's a number. I want to see if the numbers are here. Then a number 3 clear plate. Then we're going to put our paper and our die, and I'm going to lay this down, and then I like to use some Post-it note tape to hold the die in place right there. And then we're going to need another plate number 3. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down right in front of me. And get this lined up and put my little Post-it note tape on top of the die. And I'll bring that up in just a second and show you for the camera. And then as I crank it through, you're going to be seeing it coming out of the other end. So, all right, there's one Post-it note there and another. Okay. So here's what I mean by the Post-it note tape. I just hold this die in place so that it doesn't wiggle as I crank it through. All right, so let me put another clear number 3 cutting plate on top, and then that is the sandwich that we're going to crank on through, and you're going to see it coming out of the other side. Okay, there we go. So we have that, and now I just carefully punch it out, and I pull this Post-it note tape up. Okay, that's our extra little piece, and now just carefully pull that off, and I usually just keep these right handy on my machine. Right near the handle, okay? So when I punch that out, this is what we have. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness, that is just so beautiful. All right, so we're finished with that. Let me put that over here in our stack. Now we need to do the embossing folder. So here is what we need for that. I remember I put the panel right inside of there so I wouldn't lose it. That was pretty good because I was just frantically looking for it. All right, so for these big, thick 3D embossing folders, all you need is plate number 1, and then you put your paper inside your embossing folder, and then plate number 4, okay? So I'm gonna lay this down onto my machine. I'm going to line this up. There is a thin line, thin black line right there, that if you want to try to line up the bottom of your cardstock like that to make sure you're getting it straight, especially for this brick 3D, I want to make sure that it looks like the bricks are going through. And then I lay that down and top it with number 4. I just noticed I still have Post-it note tapes on here from my creative escape. I see it's like make and take number 5 or whatever it was. So, all right, that is all we need the big machine for. Let me put that over here, and then I can show you this beautiful embossed, there we go, panel. It just gives the background of the card just a little bit of detail, I think. You know, I don't know. I love embossing folders. That's all I can say. Alrighty, let me put these over here out of our way. And now we can just build our card. So let me bring in the rest of the pieces that we need. Okay, here is our embossed panel that we just did. And this is our white layer. We are going to put the 2 of these together, just like that, okay? So I love to use the Tombow liquid glue because as I get older, it gives me a little bit of wiggle time to actually get these lined up where I really want them. Especially, I'm gonna bring this in just so we can see against this white. Especially as when I'm using these really, really narrow borders. Okay, so I'm just gonna flip over the Blueberry Bushel embossed panel to the back side and just put a thin line of glue. You don't need that much. And I try not to do it right up against the edge because as we push this onto our white layer, it's gonna squish. And I don't want it squishing out of the sides, okay? All right, so that looks pretty good to me. Now I'm just gonna press that down. And I have to say too that I find that this glue, once it dries, it's a permanent hold and it really keeps my cards together, especially in the summertime when it's very, very humid here in Baltimore, okay? All right, so we have that panel. This is going to go right on the front of the card. So I'm just opening up the card base and then we're going to attach it once again with the Tombow liquid glue. Okay, right to the front. And again, this is a really, really narrow border all the way around. Okie dokies. All right, let's pull in, oops, here's our little greeting. Let's pull in our inside panel and put that in as well. And then we're gonna pop up our flowers on the front with some dimensionals. Okay, so that's the outside. I want to make sure I have it going the right way. I've done that before where I have flipped the card base around and before I know it I have the inside panel and the outside panel on the same side. Oh my, has anybody else ever done that? I've done that more than I care to admit. You know, there we go. Alrighty, so now let's grab our die cut roses here. And what I like about this, the way they designed these flowers, you have a lot of options of how you want to place these flowers onto the card front, okay? They will fit like this so that you're closer to the lower left-hand corner. They will also fit on your card front like this so that you are closer to your upper left-hand corner. You can also then flip it this way so that you have this kind of in the center, all right? And then you can also flip it this way. This is what we're going to do today, is we're gonna have it more lined up with the lower right-hand corner, okay? So like I said, I'm gonna need dimensionals to put this on. So I'm just gonna turn it over and then put some dimensionals all the way around. All right, and then I'm going to put 2 right here in the middle. Let's see if I have any whole ones left. Yes, I do. I'm finishing this sheet up, but that's going to be perfect for our greeting. Hang on a second. All right, so we are just going to pull off the little wax paper covers off of these dimensionals. And then now that has exposed the sticky part. And then I'm just going to hover these flowers right where I want them. Okay, and I'm looking to be sure that none of it is hanging over either the fold of the card or the edge of the card. Okay, I'm going to slide it down just a little bit because that will snag when we put it in the envelope. Alrighty, there we go. All right, so we have that. And now for the sending our love, you can either use mini dimensionals, or since I'm finishing up this sheet, I'm just going to use these dimensionals right along the edge here. And I just need 2. So I'm just bringing in my snips and snipping right here so that I get a little line of 2 of those edge dimensionals. And I'm going to need that right behind the word, the side for that says, of the word saying sending, okay? This part right here is going to attach to this flower, which is already popped up. So we need a dimensional on that side, but on this side, I'm just gonna put just a couple little dots of our Tombow liquid glue. We don't need this side popped up because it's going to rest on top of that flower that is already popped up on the front of our card. Okay, so now I'm going to just turn this over and position this where I like it. There we go. Press it down. There we are. Alrighty, so we're going to add a little bit of extra pizzazz to this card. I'm not sure that you can see the shimmer with the camera or not, but what we're going to do is we're going to take our Wink of Stella pen, okay, and I'm going to shake it up and then make sure that I have Wink of Stella into the brush. And you do that by just gently pushing the 2 sides of the barrel, and it actually says the word push right here. Alrighty. And you can use the lid, and then you're just going to like flick some Wink of Stella all over the card front. If you don't like doing it this way, you can use the lid and then just hit it like that as well. Okay, but I find that this way it gives me a couple more larger drops or blobs or whatever of Wink of Stella. And I like having that all over the front of the card. It just gives it a little bit more pizzazz, I guess. There we go. Let me get this bottom corner. And yes, do have a little work paper down because it will go everywhere. Even though you're aiming for the card front, it is going to splatter where it wants to splatter. Alrighty, let me do a little more over the flowers. Okay. I learned this trick from Jay and Barry over on Mitosu Crafts. This is the way they apply their Wink of Stella to the front of their cards. So if you do not follow them on YouTube, I suggest you do. They are Stampin' Up! Demonstrators in the UK, and they have videos that really are fabulous. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to put my Wink of Stella pen back over here. And I'm going to lift this up, and I am not sure that we're going to be, let me turn the light, maybe having the light directly on it will show off some of that sparkle. I'm not sure that the camera can really catch it, but in real life you can definitely see it. Okay? Alrighty. Let's grab an envelope real quickly. That is one thing I did not do for my sample card. So let me grab 2 envelopes. And if you want to, you could always stamp just one of these flowers onto the envelope and do all the masks once again. I am just going to pull out this little flower and open up my Blueberry Bushel ink and just stamp this right on the flap. Okay. There we go. There's one. And here is the second one. Alrighty. So that coordinates with our card. This little floral image is also part of the Layers of Beauty bundle. You can see it right here. There's also a small little daisy right here, but I like this little daisy cluster right here as well. Okay, so once again, if you are interested in saving an extra 10%, this particular bundle is on page 57 of our annual catalog, and you can see the beautiful samples they did above as well. The bundles are always 10% off, but through June the 30th, you can save an extra 10% off. So the normal price of this bundle is $56.50, but you would only be paying $50, I believe, and 25 cents. I don't know. I've ordered a few of these for my customers already. I believe it was $50.25. So be sure to get that order in by June 30th, okay? Because then the bundle sale will be over. Now, let me show you some of the colors that I've been playing with in case you missed the previous post. Let me slide these over. Remember last weekend I was just going cray-cray with all of these different colors. We started off with this card, okay? And this card was Peach Pie. Alrighty, so that's what we started with. And then I just kept playing with all different colors. This was Highland Heather. I did this for my team meeting the other night. I didn't label it yet, so let's put that aside. I'm pretty sure that was Highland Heather. So this one right here is Melon Mambo, and all of the leaves are Old Olive, okay? This one right here was Pretty in Pink, and leaves were Old Olive. I stamped all of the rows, the big image right here. Each time I did this, I stamped this just in basic beige because I wanted the look of like no line coloring, no line watercoloring. All right, this was Moody Mauve. There we go. Highland Heather. Berry Burst. can see I labeled them on the back. Daffodil Delight, because once I started going, I was really going. Fresh Freesia. Petunia Pop. I love this one too. This is like a really nice pinky purple. Cajun Craze. This would be good like for autumn cards. Pretty sure this is Pumpkin Pie. Yep, Pumpkin Pie. Calypso Coral. Petal Pink. Alrighty, this was Night of Navy, I'm pretty sure. Yes, I didn't write it. Night of Navy. Blueberry Bushel, this is what we did today. Azure Afternoon. Poppy Parade. Real Red. And Cherry Cobbler. Oh my goodness, they are so beautiful. So I will be die cutting all of these and making them into cards as well. Okay, there we go. So that was not just an exercise in coloring. These will become cards that will probably end up at the Makers of Maryland shop eventually, once I get them done, right? Alrighty, but today, this was the project we made today with the Blueberry Bushel ink and the Smoky Slate ink. And this time we stamped the rose image with the Blueberry Bushel ink and not the basic beige. So let me know if you have any questions about this. Again, you can order all of your Stampin' Up! Products in the US on my website. It is nancyamato.stampinup.net. I will put this below in the comments. And I hope you all have a great day. This Layers of Beauty bundle is not one to miss. And by saving an extra 10%, that is a great deal. Alrighty, I will see you all next week again. Our new online exclusives will launch on July 3rd. So next weekend, we're going to be playing with some of that new stuff. I can't wait to show it to you. And yes, there are more masks coming. I can't wait to show you the new masks. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.